All right, so we are taking a test on what, Wednesday in here? Yes. And let's make sure this writes good. And it's basically taken from the 2 quizzes that we've had. All right. Now, the questions are a little different as far as like the numbers, right? So if one thing said x plus 3, the other one might say 2x plus 1 or something like that, okay? But the problems are exactly the same type of problems that are on the quiz. Numbers are different. There may possibly be some with the exact same numbers, but most of them I try to change it for the test, all right? But it will look like both quizzes. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to answer questions on both quizzes. I just gave you one back today. If you have your first one, you can, if you have your first one, you can get that out, but we'll go over it. We'll just answer any questions you have on the quizzes. So if you can do the quizzes, you can do this test. All right? That's all it is. Samir? Yep, exactly. Basically, the test is just 2 quizzes combined, and the numbers will be a little different if there's ones with numbers in it, okay? But it's basically the same stuff, basically the same kind of problem. All right? So, the first problem is exactly the first problem on the first quiz. Do you remember what that was? 3 undefined terms, that's right. So, number 1 on the test is 3 undefined terms. Everybody should know that off the top of their head. What is that, real quick? Yep, point, line, and plane. All right, so point, line, and plane are your 3 undefined terms. I'm not going to write down like everything for every single problem, but that's it. I told you from day 1, didn't I? In fact, with my CP classes, I just started geometry today because they've been doing an algebra review for the last 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks, however long it's been. And so today they're just doing that. And I told them that today. It was their first day learning geometry, and I said the first question on the quiz and the first question on the test is going to be list the 3 undefined terms, all right? And so we did it for you. Then you have that, I'm looking at the quiz. Does anybody have the first quiz out? Okay, so I'll just draw the picture for you. You got to know what collinear means, what coplanar means. Okay, if you can remember all that stuff, you should be able to do this. Okay, so I'm just going to look at the quiz questions. So there's A, that's B, C is right here, D is here, E is down here. Now these are all lines. I'm just for the sake of time, I'm not putting the arrows on all the lines. Okay, 3 collinear points. So it says, yeah, just name the 3 collinear points. What does it mean to be collinear? The points do what? That lie on the same line. Very good. Okay, so what 3 points? Don't just name 3 random points that you see here. All 3 points have to do what? They got to be on the same line. All right, so I can't say what? A, B, E, can I? Are all 3 of those on the same line? Nope. I can't say A, B, C. It's B, C, and D. That's right. And it says name the collinear points. And again, I'm just going by the quiz. So what are the 3 points? B, C, and D. All right, Natalie, watch the video tonight. All right, number 3 on the quiz, on the first quiz. Name 3 concurrent lines. What does that mean when lines are concurrent? They do what? They all meet at the same point. So what point do 3 lines intersect? At what point? Just give me a point, Sanai. Nope, give me a point. B. Okay, so they all meet right here. There's 3 lines that meet right here, don't they? Everybody see it? What about this? Do 3 lines meet at point D? See, Natalie. Do 3 lines meet at point A? No. Okay, this is the only spot where 3 lines intersect each other at the same point. So you just name those 3 lines. So what's this one? Line AB. What's this one? Yep, you can call it line BD, you could call it CD, you could call it BC, you could go the other way, a whole bunch of things you could call it, all right? But any of those combinations would work. I'd probably call it BD, wouldn't you? Yeah, I kind of like to use the ones on the ends. You don't have to, but that's probably what I would call it. And what's the third line? This one down here, BE, that's right, okay? What about AD? I've had people put AD. No, because AD does not intersect down here, does it? All right? It's just those 3 lines. Everybody good? Okie doke. I'm not going to write those down. You wrote them down, didn't you? When I read them off? Okay. All right, now I ask you to draw some stuff. Now on the test, I'm looking at the test right now. Yeah, they're kind of the same. I just put some different letters in there. All right, so if you can do the one on the quiz, you shouldn't have any issue with the test because I think I asked basically the same thing. So you're going to draw something. It says draw a picture illustrating each point. That's number 4. Again, this is on the quiz. So the one on the quiz says you're going to draw point G on, okay, that's a key, on plane R. Let's make that look like an R. There we go. All right, so how do we draw a plane? Not just a rectangle, though. We try to slant it. It could be a rhombus, but we haven't even said rhombus. Believe me, we'll have a lot of talk about rhombus in another chapter, but not today. All right, so it just looks like a rectangle, but it's slanted, okay? So that means it doesn't look like a rectangle. So I shouldn't have said it looks like a rectangle. Anyway, it looks like this. You should draw it like this. Some of you guys drew your plane like that. I gave it to you, but have I ever described a plane that looked like that? No, the plane was always slanted. So every time you see it in the book, they're always going to make it slanted looking like that. So if it says to draw a plane, make sure it looks kind of like this. You could slant it to the left or to the right. You could make it steeper slant. It doesn't matter. Just something that looks similar to that. All right. Now on the quiz, I gave it to you if you made it look like a rectangle. That was fine, but it shouldn't. It should look like this. All right, it's plane R. Let's do that first. How do I label plane R? Yeah, in one of the corners. Does it matter what corner? No, it doesn't make any difference. I usually put it up here to the top right. You don't have to. And it should be a lowercase. I tried to make that lowercase. Anyway, there you go. It's a lowercase r. It's plane R. Don't put a capital letter there or an uppercase. I think I had people do that. Anybody do that? You want to be brave and tell me? Okay. Don't put a capital. Did I give it to you or not? Okay, good. I'm glad I didn't. Because I said specifically, when you name a plane, you name it with a what? Lowercase. So make sure you put a lowercase. And even on the instructions, it's got a lowercase r. So it should make sense. Agreed? It makes a difference whether you use upper or lower cases on a lot of these. All right, so I will take off if you don't do it the correct way. Now it says point G is on it. This is super easy. This is the easiest drawing that you're ever going to do in geometry. So there's your plane R. Point G is on it. So what do? I just put it. Some people were doing this and put a G, capital G. Some people were doing this. Okay, that doesn't mean it's on it. Okay, the plane itself, remember the plane doesn't have any edges. So don't think that the line around this thing is the plane. It's the surface inside of there. Okay, that's the plane. So anywhere in there you could have put a G. All right, don't put it here. I think I gave it to you if you put it there. I think I did. All right, because technically the plane keeps going forever. So sure, it would be, it could be in that spot right there. But put it somewhere inside of it. You could say in the plane or on the plane. Most of the time we would say on, but it should be in this area bounded by that box. Everybody got it? And that would be your picture. Boom, you would get it. So that would be that. I would put a little check mark right there. It means you got that right. Okay, let's do another picture. Now, you don't have to be an artist to do these pictures. That's good because I'm a terrible artist. Wait till there will probably be a few times where I draw like a little person, like a stick person or something like that. It's incredible that I could even draw a stick person. All right, but I'm just no artist as far as drawing things. I take photos. Some people, I've been told that I was artistic with my photography, but I tell them, like, look, anybody could do that. You just push a button, right? You just focus, push a button. It depends where you point it and stuff, but I'm not an artist where you can like actually draw. To me, that's a real artist. But anyway, this next one says, I'm not going to write it out, but it says line M intersecting plane H at point L. Let's do the big one first. Plane what? Plane H. You can go in any corner. Just for fun, I'll come down here and put it in a different corner just to show you. Doesn't matter what corner. Don't put it right there. That doesn't mean that's the plane. Don't put it outside. okay? Even though technically a plane, there is no outside of a plane because it keeps on going forever. Anyway, put it in one of the corners. Make sure it's lowercase. It says line M intersects, so line M, we're going to have a line that intersects that plane at point L. So let's put the point first. There's point L. Okay? Now we have a line that intersects the plane at point L. It's not on it. It does what? What's the word that I used? It intersects it. You could go any direction. But the problem is, we don't want to just do a line like this, okay? A nice solid line. That, oops. Well, definitely don't want to do it like that. I kind of missed it. There we go. All right? Now that line intersects that point, doesn't it? But does the line intersect the plane the way it's drawn right here? No, I would say that that line is on the plane, but that's not what the thing says. All right, it says it's got to intersect the plane. What does that mean? That means I'm going to have to draw it a little different. So part of it, we'll have the top of it. This is like the top of the line, and it is a line, so you need to put arrows. Now what do I do here? Because this is the part that I can't see. Remember, this is your plane, and it's like you got this line going through it, and you can't see part of that pen, can you? That's behind the plane, so you can't see that. How do I show the part that you can't see? A dotted line, right? All right, so dotted line, and then when it hits the edge right there, then you could straighten the line out and just go nice solid line. So that shows me that that line intersects the plane. But they do tell you the name of the line. They say line M. So how do I show line M? Lowercase? Yeah, I could put it right up here. I'll put a little squiggly thing to make it sure it's lowercase. So that's a lowercase m. You could put it here, or you could put it down here, but you put it near one of the arrows. All right, so if I just name it with a lowercase letter, all right, I'm going to put it near one of the arrows, and you don't have to put any other points on there. And there it is. So make sure that that point is labeled L, make sure your plane is labeled H, make sure your line is labeled M, and make sure if it intersects it, all right, you got that little dotted line part of it. Everybody good with that? And then when it comes out the other end, that's the part you can see. Then you go solid line again. Okay? All right. So you'll have something, let me see. Do you have that? Yep. Basically the same question, just different letters. All right, I don't have H, L, and M. I use different letters. But it's really the same problem. So I'm practically giving this thing away. All right. Then I give you, I'll just draw the picture. I'll give you a line. And I give you what, 4 points on there? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is W, X, Y, and Z. Or in England or Australia, they don't say Z. What do they say in Australia? Z. Isn't that funny? I used to say that for 2 years. I said Z. Then I came back. I remember coming back to a class, and I don't know why, but I had to say the letter Z, but I said Z, and everybody's like, what? What do you say? What do you say? I was like, I just lived in Australia for 2 years. I got to get used to this. I also remember asking my friends, I couldn't remember what side of the road I was supposed to ride my bike on, because we'd ride bikes around the neighborhood and stuff, and I'd always be on the left-hand side of the road. They're like, what are you guys doing over? So I'd always have to come over to the right-hand side. It didn't take me long, but I finally figured it out. Isn't that crazy? All right, what is the end point of line XY? Of ray XY. Yeah, so what's the end point? You don't even have to look at that picture, do you? All right, you can just look at this, and I can tell you exactly what the end point is. What is it? It's just point X, right? Now, if I was going to write X for my answer, do I need to write the word point X? Do I need to put a dot and an X? No, I don't need to. I mean, I could. I probably wouldn't mark it wrong, but all you need to do is write what for the answer? Just an X, just a capital X. All right, so the end point of this ray is X. How do you know it's X? How do you know it's not Y? That's right, because the end point always goes first. The X always goes first, so that's the end point. And if I was to draw it, it doesn't ask you to draw it, but what if I did? And I won't. But what if I did? It dot where? At the X, right. Okay, it'd be right there, and then everything, which direction? In this case, to the right. Let's move that up a little bit. There we go. Do you see that? So that would be ray X, Y. Even though it goes through Z, it's still that ray. Yes?
So even if it's like ray X W X you draw that way, even if you write like X Y, but it's still ray X W.
Yes. Yeah, this one, it doesn't matter which direction, because this line could have been slanted, right? And you're not going to draw a slanted line up here like this, right? So it doesn't really matter which direction that your ray is going. Just because that's going to the right doesn't mean that this little ray symbol goes to the right. I could have talked about ray XW, and this arrow at the top would still go to the right. So yeah, it has no indication. It doesn't indicate like which direction it's going or anything like that. All right, the other question, name ray WY. WY. Name that two different ways. I think people got a little mixed up on this one. So let's, where's WY? Well, it would be this, wouldn't it? It would start at W, and which way would it go? Through what? Through Y. Well, it would start at X, or it'd start at W, and it would go through Y, which means it would also go through that X as well. And it also goes through the Z. So look at the blue one right there. What's another way that I could name that? Instead of calling it WY, and I think they ask you to name it two different ways. And it has to start with what? W, right? If it's going to be the same ray, it's got to start at the same endpoint. So I could call it W what? WX, ray, and put the ray symbol over top of it. And what's the second way? WZ, that's right. So I could call it WZ as well. Everybody got that? Could I call it XY, ray XY? No, because it doesn't start at W. So if it says name this two other ways, the W has to go first. All right? It's got to go first. Everybody okay with that? All right. They give you one more picture on quiz 1. Let's do this. Let's make this white. And I give you the same, let me see. Yeah, pretty much the same picture. Just put different letters on it, that's all. But I kind of ask you the same thing. Let's see. We got one going this way. We got one like this. We got all these angles coming from that same vertex. And then you got another one like that. All right, and we'll put arrows. And this vertex is P. The angles 1, 2, and 3. We also put some other letters in here. So this is Q, R, S, T. That's R. This is S. What? This? It's a P. Q, R, S, T. Yeah, this is P. Capital P. All right, there's your picture. Actually, on the test, I give you the same exact letters and same exact number of angles, but I ask you slightly different questions, okay? But here's the questions that are on the quiz. This is 8, 9, and 10 from the quiz. It says, state another name for angle 1. So look at this angle right here. I want to rename that angle. That's not us, is it? Why is the bell going off at that time? 52, there should be no 50. It's 53. There should be no 53 bell. Everything's in 5s. What is it for? I know, but why is there a bell going off at 53? Because on every day but Wednesday, everything's by 5s. I don't know. Anyway, that's okay. That doesn't affect us. Let's see, when are we out of here? 10. All right. Oh, I got to hustle if I want to get through that second quiz. Let's do this real fast. What's another name for angle 1? QPR. Angle, QPR. There's only one other way that I could name it. What's the other way I could name it? RPQ. what has to be in the middle? The vertex has to be in the middle. Okay, that's very, very important. I had some people saying QRP. Does that even make sense? Because if I went QRP, there's not even an angle coming out of QRP, is there? All right, so the P right there, that vertex, has got to be in the middle. All right, good. Name an interior point of angle RPT. Angle RPT. Well, let's do this in different color. All right, where's RPT? RPT is this red angle right there. You see that? So name me an interior point to that big angle right there. Just S, that's the only one. Okay, so point S is the interior. It's in between, okay, those two rays that make up that angle. And then it says name 3 angles that have PQ as a side. All right, so PQ, ray PQ, that makes a difference, okay? So where's ray PQ? It's this one right here. Let's just change color of it.
Wait, what's the question again?
Name 3 angles that have PQ as a side. All right, so there's the angle right there. So what angles have this as one of their sides? Okay, you could do that, but what's an easier way to say QPR? You could say angle 1, right? So that's got it. Angle, well, not just angle 2. You can't say angle 2. The combination of 1 and 2, but you don't say that, though. You don't say angle 1 plus angle 2. What would you say? QPS. That's right. So angle QPS. What's another angle that has that pink one as one of its sides? The whole big thing, right? So that'd be QPT. So angle QPT. We go to that? All right, let's move on to the other one. And we actually have a little math to do on this one, don't we? On that first quiz, there really was no math involved. But this one there is. We may not be able to get to every... Well, we got 15 minutes, so maybe we will. I don't know. We'll see. Let me just pick the numbers, or let me pick the problems with numbers, okay, that you had to do some math with. Because they're probably the ones that you got wrong. Okay, it says DF is 138. So here's what I like to do. If you don't want to write that squiggly looking brace, you can just do this. You can put like a little line here, a little line here. 138. See that? All right, however you want to draw it, I don't care. But you know the whole thing from D to F is 138. And then they tell you that DE is 2x plus 6. So DE is 2x plus 6. We'll put it right there. And that EF is 3x minus 3. Does this problem say anything about DE and EF being equal to each other? It doesn't. All right? So you cannot assume that they're equal. You can't just set them equal to each other. Everybody hear me on that? On the next one, we can. But again, it's not an assumption. They tell you. All right? So you can't just think that they're equal to each other, set them equal. What do? This little short one and this little short one do what to make 138? They add up. They add together to make the 138. So let's do that. 2x plus 6, what? Plus 3x minus 3. Those are your two little segments. What do they add up to be? 138. Okay? I'll let you do the math. Again, I'm racing the clock here. So do the math and you'll get x equals 17. It's not the question that they ask. They ask you to find the length of DE and EF. Notice, if I put a DE with no symbol over top of it, what does that mean? It means find the length of it, how long it is, okay? That's what I'm trying to find. I want to find out how long that thing is. Well, I kind of know it. It's 2x plus 6. But I don't know what x is. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, I do. I just found it, didn't I? So x is 17. So what do? Put the 17 in there. 2 times 17 is what? 30. Let's see. 30. Wait, what am I? DE 2x plus 6? Yeah. Wait a minute. Did I do something wrong?
Maybe
What did I do wrong? 2x plus 6, there's a 138. Did I get that wrong?
it's 27, not 7.
Oh, it's 27. Okay. Yeah, I was looking at that. It's weird because I put x is 17 on my answer thingy. But I should have put 27, but I got the right answer, I think. It's 2 times 27, right? Yeah, it's 27. Well, that was dumb. Let me make sure. Let me pull out the good old calculator here. 135 divided by 5. Yep, it's 27, not 17. So I made a mistake, but I got the answer right. That's weird. So it's 27. Good. Okay, 2 times 27 is 54. 54 plus 6 is what? 60. So that whole thing is 60. So DE, here's my answer, DE equals 60. Now, on the test, I don't put little blanks on there, okay? So you need to write out DE equals 60, because on the quiz I put DE equals blank, all right? So you just put the number in, but do this. And what's the other one? EF, right? So EF equals. Now, how can I find EF? I don't even have to go 27 times 3. What's an easier way to do this?
138.
That's it. I would go 138 minus 60. And that's what, 78? Yeah. So that should be your answer. Right there. Everybody understand that? Because the whole thing's 138. This is 60. So that means it's 78. Yep. And then they would add up to 138. Good. We okay with that? All right. Number 2, I think caused a few people problems. Probably because that one word. What one word does this have in it that the other one did not? Not midpoint. Good. I'm actually going to put the midpoint. Oops. I knew I was going to do that. I should have. All right. So there's that. This is L, M, and N. That's L. That's M. This is N. And they say that this is 8x minus 16. And this is 4x plus 8. All right. And they tell you, they want you to find LM. So let's write it up here. Find LM and LN. Okay, so this little bit and this little bit. But they tell you something about point M. What do they tell you about point M? It's the midpoint. Now that's very important, isn't it? If it's the midpoint, then it's where? Basically, somebody tell me. It's halfway, right? Which means, what's true? If M is halfway, tell me something about LM and MN. They're equal to each other. That's right. Okay? In this case, they are equal to each other. In the other problem, were they necessarily equal to each other? No. But this one, they are. So they don't tell you the length of the whole thing on this one. So I can't add them up and set them equal to anything. But what I can do is actually just do what to them? Just set them equal to each other. Okay? Again, I'll let you do the math on this. Hopefully I did it right this time. I got x equals 6. Is that what you got? All right, and now we can plug it in. We can plug it into either one because they're both going to be the same, aren't they? So let's just plug it into the easier one. I'd probably plug it into this. So 4 times 6 is 24 plus 8 is 32, correct? Yep, so that means this is 32. Without doing really any more math, what is LM? 32. That's got to be 32 because this is the midpoint. They're exactly the same. But look at the question, though. The question says find LN. So LM is 32. We're good with that. All right, that right there. But this says find LN. And a couple of you, I think, if I remember right, put 32 for LN. But look where LN is. It's from here all the way to there. So it's what? Nobody? 64. Okay. So LN is 64. So you got to be careful on what they're asking for. Don't just make any assumptions like they're both 32, so I put 32 in there. Anybody want to bare their soul and say that they got that wrong because they put a 32? Yeah, it's a common thing, okay? It's a thing that I see often when I give this quiz and test. All right, so make sure that you read and do that. Let's do one more of these algebra ones. My guess is these are probably the 3 hardest anyway. I don't know. Would you agree or disagree? Okay. I'm not putting arrows because time is running short. All right, it says you want to find angle 2 and 3. So find angle 2 and angle 3. And they tell you that angle 1, this is what they tell you. A lot of times in math and geometry, they say given. So they tell you it's given that angle 1 equals angle 2. All right, they tell you that that's true. And they also tell you that angle 1 is 4x plus 7. And they tell you that angle 2 is 5x minus 4. Just like we did on the other one. It doesn't say midpoint though, does it? But they do tell you that angle 1 and angle 2 are exactly the same. So check out what they gave us. They gave us angle 1, they gave us angle 2. They are both the same. They are equal to each other. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to set them equal to each other. All right? And what's that, 11? Yep. So x equals 11. But you're not done, right? Because you got to find what those angles are. So let's take a look at this. Let's find angle 1. So 4 times what? 11, which is 44, plus 7. What's 44 and 7? 51, right. So that means angle 1 is what? 51 degrees. But they don't even ask you for angle 1. They ask you for angle 2 and 3. But if I know angle 1, angle 2 is what? 51 degrees. How do I find, so that's one of my answers. Angle 2, here's one of my answers. Angle 2 is equal to 51 degrees. How do I find angle 3? This one right here. That's right. Add them up, which is what? 102? And take them away from 180. And you get 78. That's right. So here's how you write your answer. Angle 3 equals what? 78 what? Degrees. Put the degree symbol. That's how you do that. The shapes, easy. Perimeter, regular hexagon. How many sides does a hexagon have? Hexa, 6. You got to know that. So number 6 is just 6 times 7, right? That's how you do the math on number 6. 6 times 7. Circumference with diameter. What's the formula for circumference if they give you the diameter? Right, pi times d. All right. It says find the circumference, so you just put, and they tell you the diameter is 20, so it's just 20 times 3.14, and that gives you 62.8. It's in feet, so you write feet. And then 9, 10, or 8, 9, and 10, you just tell what picture it is, and I do the same thing. They're different pictures, all right, but just go through your pictures with your hedrons and your cones and cylinder and pyramid and prism, right? Just make sure you know what they are and your hedrons and all that kind of stuff, all right? Oh, I put a couple on here that were not on the quiz. How did I do that? That's easy. What if I give you a figure with 7 sides? If I give you a polygon, I draw it, it's got 7 sides. What's the name of that? A septagon or heptagon, either one. You can use either one interchangeably. If I give you one with 5 sides, what is that? And you know how to determine if it's concave or... Oh, no, I do give you that. Yeah, 4 and 5 on the quiz. Yeah, we're like that. So what am I thinking? Yeah, everything's just like the quiz. I mean, it's like super straightforward. All right, everything's just like on the quiz, except the numbers are different. All right, so instead of the diameter being 20 feet, it might be another number. Right, but you're basically doing the same thing to all these problems, but the numbers are going to be slightly different. Everybody okay with that? All right. Well, that was a good review, wasn't it? Right in time. We got like a minute left. So the test is Wednesday, corrections Thursday, and that's basically the rest of the week. That's it. All righty.